name's Hosseini. I'm the CEO and founder of SenRa. We're a LoRaWAN network operator in India, and I live in Delhi, so it's not too far from where we are today. What I'm actually doing is representing the LoRa Alliance today. They asked me to come and speak on behalf because not only am I the CEO of SenRa, I am the co-chair of marketing committee of the LoRa Alliance. So what I'd like to do is take the opportunity to kind of educate you all about LoRaWAN. You heard from Hosseini and what they're doing. This is our first time here at this event, but we feel like that it's about time that we should be here. So a little bit about the LoRa Alliance. We're a nonprofit organization. We started around 2015, where the first initial companies came together and started to define standards and specifications. It is a low power wide area network technology. From that time of 2015 up until 2018, we were right around 300 members, and then at the end of 2018 we had a huge push, and now we're over 500 members that include companies that actually some of them are residing here today. Itron, EDF, you've got Google Cloud just recently joined, Alibaba. So we are growing exponentially, and one of my things that I'd like to see from those in the audience, if you're interested in joining the Alliance, please come and contact me after this, and we can discuss how the memberships process would be. But we'd love to get more and more adopters from the Indian community. Tata Communications is a member, SenRa ourselves are a member, and we have a few others from the institutional side of the game that are actually joining and be contributing as well. So what do we bring? With this ecosystem of over 500 plus companies, we are everything from the chip all the way to the SI and everything in between. So if you're looking for a gateway, or if you're looking for a smart meter, if you're looking for a module to make a smart meter, if you're looking for a network operator, such as SenRa, we can provide that as part of this alliance. And we feel that it is really doing well. When we got past the 500 mark, there was actually some articles that came out, and journalists said that we are the de facto alliance, and we are the fastest growing technology alliance in the world today. So that it's something to say when you actually have people writing about us and how we are the de facto standard. To give a little bit of explanation on our growth, we are now over 100 countries of presence of LoRaWAN, including India, which Tata and SenRa are providing public networks in. We have over 100 network operators. What's great about LoRaWAN is you don't have to go get network connectivity from a public operator. You can actually deploy your own networks. You can deploy private networks. You can create a Raspberry Pi and download some open reference designs off of GitHub, and you can become a DIY project in instant measures. Although at scale projects, I would strongly recommend talking to the local operators because they have the proper equipment and OSS to handle the processing of massive scale deployments. So a little bit about why I believe LoRaWAN is doing so well. LPWAN in itself is 55% of the overall IoT market, the estimation by the end of next year. And in 2022, it's expected that smart meters will be 132.7 million units. I actually had a meeting with an organization that's heavily into the electricity sector yesterday, and they were saying that currently there's 1 billion electric meters deployed throughout the world. 30 million of them are actually smart electric meters. So, and it's going to keep growing and growing and growing. What are some use cases for the utility sector, specifically the meter to cash, remote valve control, eliminating electricity theft and water loss, integrations of renewable and distribution energy, and so forth. I won't read every bullet point, but it's up there. The benefits and differentiators were flexible deployment options. As I mentioned, you can get services from a public operator. You can be your own operator. We have actual proof. We have open standards. We are not a proprietary technology. I was glad to hear Wyson talk about our stars of stars topology because it actually requires less infrastructure to deploy LoRaWAN than it does with RF mesh network technology, and it actually is less consumption on power. So in electricity metering, you don't have so much of that of a concern because you have direct power access, but when you're doing gas or water or any other type of vertical in the Internet of Things, low power battery requirements, stars of stars topology will outdo anybody else in the market. We have geolocation support. We can do firmware over the air. Our security is AES 128 encryption from point of the device to the analytics platform. Our coverage can get up to 20 miles in rural areas and probably 8 kilometers in urban, highly insulated areas, depending on how high you put the infrastructure. And again, power efficiency. So this kind of gives you a quick diagram on what the LPWAN, IoT, LoRaWAN network look like. So you have your end nodes, which could be an electricity meter, gas, or water. It goes into a base station, or what we call in the industry gateways. Then it goes into the network server and ends up at your application server, which for a lot of the metering, it's an HES. So a little bit of some India stats, $15 billion industry that we've all heard, 2020. The utility sector alone is 25% of that market, so 3.75 billion by 2020. There is a projection of 130 million smart meters just in India alone by the end of 21, and 90% of the households within India are projected to have smart prepaid meters throughout this entire effort to turn India smart. So it's really good numbers, and it shows that we're on the right path and a really good market to invest in, such as I did with SenRa. So we have 2 use cases. I know I'm almost running out of time, so I'm trying to talk a little bit faster. But you have the technology benefits, you have the connectivity upsides, you have the values add for the utilities, and then we have some use cases I'd actually like to talk about. It's a 1 slide per. Tata Communications did an amazing job. Recently they made an announcement in gas metering, and SenRa has done some announcements in the water metering sector. So this is one example from Tata. They teamed up with Genesis. They did, I believe, they're doing a 5,000 meter deployment in the gas sector with IGL, and this kind of gives you insight on what LoRaWAN can do in the gas sector and what kind of benefits it does. It takes the walk-by out of it. You get automatic readings, real-time analytics. The devices can be deployed and left and forgot about for very, very, very long time, 10, 15 years of battery life. You get better customer satisfaction because now it's long-distance range. It has good penetration into the buildings, so you don't have to have intervention with the homeowners to retrieve that information. So the key 3 benefits for this is improve working capital, reduce manual intervention, increase visibility of gas distribution in real time. And so SenRa, what we did was actually an ultrasonic water meter deployment in central of India, and we were able to sit down after 3 months with the mayor and his staff at the city, and we were able to show them where the houses were consuming most of the water, and one of it was the actual mayor's house, so he kind of got a little bit of embarrassed by that. But then they were also able to see the second most, or the first most consuming home was actually someone stealing water from the city and redistributing it. So they also were able to tell during holidays there was more consumption, so they were able to adjust their flow of water appropriately based on the season, the holiday, or the weekend. And all of this came through just a 3-month period, which I think Holly ended up somewhere in between that 3-month period. So these are 2 real use cases. Thousands and thousands of devices are being deployed on LoRaWAN today in India. Manufacturers in metering, regardless of the utilities, are doing it today. This is some publicity that came out from different companies. The biggest one that came out recently was Veolia and Birds have joined together with Orange in France, and they're doing 3 million devices in the water sector in France, and all on LoRaWAN. So final slide is the utilities can adopt LoRaWAN for their strategy and any kind of metering, and these are the reasons why we believe it's an ideal situation. Again, if you have any questions, you can contact us on these links, get more information, email the marketing committee at marcom at Laura Alliance. Again, I'm the chair of the committee, and if you need anything, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.